creators, and welcome to my YouTube channel, and welcome to day one of my Spellbinders June 2026 All Clubs Create series. So today we're going to be playing with the stencil of the month, and that is Plumeria Spray. Now, I tested it and played with it ahead of time to make sure it would come out how I liked it, and I don't know why I doubt it, but Spellbinder stuff always comes out beautifully. So here I used my distress inks, and I used this like speckled paper that I still have in my stash, and I think it turned out really cute. So for my pinks, for my flowers, I used Spun Sugar, Kitsch Flamingo, Tattered Rose, and Picked Raspberry. And then for my greens, for my large, my monster leaf there, I used Lucky Clover, and what was the other one? Cracked Pistachio. So that's what I used there. I used some of my VersaFine ink to stamp the sentiment, and I used VersaFine Claire Charming Pink. I need to get more of these because they stamp just beautifully. And then I used some Spellbinders. I believe it's Tutu. Yeah, Tutu color wheel cardstock for my matte layer. And then I used some gems. They're the Spectrum AB self-adhesive crystals. So I used some of these for the centers of my flowers. Then I used some white gel pen on some of the flowers and some of this sparkly, what is it? It is Clear Star Jelly Roll Pen. So I used that on some of them as well. And let me see if you can see the sparkle on there. Well, it's kind of hard to see on camera, but it is there, I promise you. So it's there. So let's make another one, but this one I'm going to do in the flowers will be purples. So let me get all my goodies ready to go. Now that sentiment was from the Stamp and Die of the Month, so I did use that. And then for my ink blending, I like to pull in my stamp wheel just so that I can put my paper on the sticky mat and then use my the corner of the stamp wheel. And you know what? What if I did it backwards this time? I'm going to put it upside down because the other one was on the other corner, and I think you can do it. I think it should turn out just fine. But I did cut this cardstock to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Let's see if I can get that straight under there first. And I really shouldn't be too worried about it because I will trim it down. Actually, yeah, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 is what I cut that to. So let's get started with our ink blending. We'll start with our purples, so our greens, sorry. So I'm going to start with Cracked Pistachio first, and I'll get that ink blended. I'm trying to be careful because on my other card, I got excited and started going really quickly. And if you see on the monster leaf, there's part of it that's kind of blurry because I went underneath the stencil. So I'm trying to be a little more careful on this one. Now, friends, as a reminder, there will be a giveaway at the end of the series. So keep watching. Haven't chosen the prizes yet. I'll go through my D-stash boxes and pick a couple of things out to give away. I'll also be sure to link to the playlist. So all the June series videos will be in one playlist. So we'll be able to find them easily and go rewatch them if you'd like to. So there's the first stencil. And again, I flipped it upside down because the stencil actually goes this way. And that's how I did it on my first card. So I just got to remember to flip it upside down so all my stenciling lines match up. All right, sorry, I got text from one of my kids, so I had to stop and see if they needed anything from me. But now we'll go start in with our purples. So this one, I'm going to use Shaded Lilac. And, oh no, see, I'm not careful. I didn't press this down to make sure it stayed on my sticky mat. I need to be more careful about doing that. Okay, let's get our flowers here. Now I'm gonna get all my stencils and my ink blending done. So I will play a little bit of music while I do this and speed up this portion of the video. But just sit back and relax while I finish stenciling this beautiful floral on my speckled paper. So for this part of the flowers, the stencil number 3, I am using Wilted Violet. For stencil number 4, I am going to use Milled Lavender. I'm going to use Seedless Preserves for the centers of my flowers. And then for the veins on my monster leaf, I am going to use Lucky Clover. Alrighty, now that I have my card panel trimmed down to 4 by 5 1/4, I'm going to use some lilac cardstock, color wheel cardstock, as my mat layer. But because I'm stingy with this cardstock, I'm going to cut a rectangle out of the center that I can use for die cutting other images out of. So I'll use this as my mat layer. You'll never know that I cut out that center portion. So let's bring in our card base. And you want to make sure, see I have a little bit of extra there. So what I'm going to do is attach my little mat layer first, and then I'll trim down my card base so that it's not hanging over. And then we'll add our little stenciled panel. So I like to make sure I've got it on 2 edges. The top edge, I've got it aligned right, and one of the side edges, because then I can trim this and the bottom. All right, now that I've trimmed my card base down, I can add my stenciled panel there. Oh, wait, let me add a sentiment first. So I'm going to bring in my Mini Misty, and let me decide which sentiment I want on here. I think on the last one I used the one that said dance into your best year, and I think for this one I'm gonna put mahalo, my friend. So let's get that on my Misty so that we can stamp that. So I think I'm gonna stamp it using Wilted Violet. I just try not to press too hard on sentiments when I'm stamping them, because then the letters get distorted. So that just means I have to do a couple of layers. which I think that looks good. So now we can add this to our card panel. Making sure I have it right side up. I'll bring in my different gel pens and just kind of go the same way I did on my first card. That way I don't have to do much thinking. And we can have this card finished quickly. Now I will be sure to link to Spellbinders, the All Clubs Crate, to the different clubs in the description box. I'll also link to the other products I've used. For example, the gel pens I'm using, my tape runner, my glue press, all that fun stuff. Oh, this one I wanted to do with the sparkle pen. Okay, this one I'm using the sparkle pen. I started with a white, but let me go over it with my sparkle pen. Oh no, I think it sat too long. I had to kind of play with it for my earlier card to get the ink flowing again. So let me do that again. And I'm using the sparkle one on the larger flowers and then the white gel pen on the smaller flowers. But I'm also using the sparkle pen here on the sides, the side of the petal of the smaller flowers, because I do want to add some sparkle throughout. Can you even tell? Let's see if you can see the sparkle. Oh, there you go. See it? Can you see the sparkle there? I think you can. Okay, now we can add our little gems. So I'm using the larger gems for the larger flowers. 1, 2, 3. Oopsie. And then different size gems. So these next smaller ones, the next largest, I'm sorry, to a couple of these flowers. And then maybe a couple of these smaller ones here. One here. I think that's it. Oh, one down here. Look how pretty. And see that I just flipped the stencil upside down to get my floral to go in a different direction. I think they both turned out so pretty. Loving them. Alrighty friends, make sure to stick around for day 2 tomorrow. And I am going to do the 8 days. So I'll do focusing on one of the clubs each day. That'll lead us up to the end of June. And then I'll announce the winner in July. That will have to be in July, but that's okay. I think we're okay doing that. Let me know in the comments below which one you like better, the pink flowers or the purple flowers. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end. I'd be thrilled if you subscribed to my YouTube channel or followed me on any of my other social media platforms. As always, have a beautiful, safe, and creative day. Thanks for watching. Bye.